The 1928 New Year Honours were appointments by King George V to various orders and honours to reward and highlight good works by citizens of the United Kingdom and British Empire. They were announced on the 30th of December 1927. Unusually, only women were named as recipients of the Order of the British Empire in the 1928 New Year Honours. The recipients of honours are displayed here as they were styled before the new honour and arranged by honour, with classes and then divisions as appropriate. United Kingdom and Colonies. Baron Lieutenant Colonel the Right Honourable George Abraham Gibbs TD JPDL MP Member of Parliament for Bristol West since 1906, a Government Whip in the House of Commons. 1917, Treasurer of His Majesty's Household 1921 to January 1924, and since November 1924, the Right Honourable Sir Frederick John Deltry Lugard GCMG DSO, former Governor-General of Nigeria, British Member of Permanent Mandates Commission of the League of Nations since 1922, Sir Gerald Strickland GCMG MP Member of Parliament for Lancaster since 1924, Prime Minister of Malta. Privy Councillor. The King appointed the following to His Majesty's Most Honourable Privy Council: John Colin Campbell Davidson CHCB MP Member of Parliament for Hemel Hempstead, November 1920 to 1923, and since 1924, Chairman of the Conservative and Unionist Party since November 1926, Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster 1923-24, Parliamentary and Financial Secretary to the Admiralty, November 1924, Sir Kingsley Wood MP Member of Parliament Woolwich West Division since Dec. 1918, Parliamentary Secretary to the Ministry of Health since November 1924, Baronetcies James Gomer Berry JP Chairman, St Clement's Press Limited, Deputy Chairman Allied Newspapers Limited, James Caird, for Public and Philanthropic Services. Major General Sir Richard Havelock Charles GCVOKCSIMDUD Sergeant Surgeon to H.M. The King, late President Medical Board, India Office. Colonel William Edward Came Curry CBEJPDL for Political and Public Services in Monmouthshire. Sir Arthur Worley CBE General Manager of the North British and Mercantile Insurance Company, and of the Railway Passengers Assurance Company. Aide-de-camp Captain, the Marquess of Dufferin and Ava PCDSO has been appointed a Royal Naval Volunteer Reserve aide-de-camp to the King, in succession to Captain Viscount Curzon CBEVD MPADC 2 January 1928. Knight Bachelor Stephen Harry Atchison JP for Political and Public Services in Northumberland, President of the Central Division Conservative Association, Newcastle upon Tyne. George Washington Badge Rossi MGMDFRCS Dean and Surgeon to the Hospital for Diseases of the Throat and Ear, Golden Square, W1, Consulting Surgeon to various Dominion hospitals in England. Edmund Broughton Barnard OBEMAJPDL Chairman of the Hertfordshire County Council and Lee Conservancy Board, for valuable services to local government. Alderman John Bailey, founder and builder of Wellington College, now Wrekin College, Salah, has been on the Shropshire County Council since 1889. Reginald Bennett, for Political and Public Services. Secretary of the Primrose League, Frederick Charles Bowring JP Lord Mayor of Liverpool 1925-27. For Public Services, John Reeve Brooke CB formerly Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport. Secretary, Central Electricity Board, Arthur William Fair CBEJPDL for Political and Public Services in Leicestershire, Chairman of the Melton Division Conservative and Unionist Association. Montague Richard William Foster TD MAJP for Political and Public Services in Hampshire. County Alderman, County of Southampton. Edward German, composer. His Honor Judge Peter Grain, Judge of the Supreme Court for China. His Honor Judge Francis John Greenwell CBEMAJPDL County Court Judge. Frederick Greville Hallett BEJP Secretary, Joint Examining Board, Royal College of Physicians of London, and Royal College of Surgeons of England. Brigadier General Harold Brewer Hartley CBEMCAMAFRS Fellow and Tutor of Balliol College, Oxford. Member of Chemical Warfare Committee, for services to the Army in connection with training Army candidates at Oxford. Alderman Marshall Hayes, for political and public services in Hammersmith. Charles Eggleston JPFSA President of the Institute of Journalists, 1927. George William Henry Jones MP Member of Parliament for Stoke Newington, 1918–23, and since 1924. For political and public services, Arthur Belmore Lowry CB Chief General Inspector, Ministry of Health. David McCowan DL for political and public services in Glasgow. Mortimer Reginald Margison JP for political and public services in Worcestershire. Chairman of the Kidderminster Division Conservative and Unionist Association. David Mason OBE JP Lord Provost of Glasgow. William Maxwell, for political and public services in the northeast of Scotland. Major Robert Spencer NTDJP for political and public services in the east of Scotland. Charles Grant Robertson CVOMALLD Vice-Chancellor and Principal of Birmingham University. Alderman James Robinson CBEJP for public and political services in Cardiff. Percy William George Sargent CMGDSOFRCS Honorary Consultant Surgeon, Ministry of Pensions. Specialist in cases of injury to brain and spinal cord. Mayor Adam Spielman, Chairman of Managers of Hayes Industrial School and of Park House Reformatory School. Thomas Ernest Stanton CBEFRSDSC Superintendent, Engineering Department, National Physical Laboratory. Alexander Stevenson JP Lord Provost of Edinburgh. Walter Wool West JP for political and public services in the Isle of Ely. Dominion's John Longstaff, President of Society of Australian Artists. The Honourable Alfred Bishop Maureen LLB KC Minister without Portfolio, Newfoundland. Charles Samuel Nathan CBE Vice Chairman of the Development and Migration Commission, Commonwealth of Australia. The Honourable Thomas Walter Stringer, lately Judge of the Supreme Court of New Zealand. British India Swaraj KECIE Sorbwa of HSI Por, Burma. Justice Louis Charles Crump, Indian Civil Service, Queen Judge of the High Court of Judicature, Bombay. Justice Arthur Herbert Cumming, Indian Civil Service, Queen Judge of the High Court of Judicature, Calcutta. Albert Ashley Biggs, Agent Madras and Southern Maratha Railway. Brajendralai Mitter, Advocate General, Bengal. Edwin Horpasco, Director, Geological Survey of India. Bairamji Jijiboy, Sheriff of Bombay. Jahangir Kuvaji Koyaji, Professor of Political Economy and Philosophy in the Presidency College at Calcutta. Lately member of the Boyle Commission on the Indian Tariff and Indian Currency. Chapur Jiba Manji Bilamura MBEJP, lately member of the Bombay Back Bay Committee. Dr. William James Wanless, American Presbyterian Mission Hospital, Miraj, Bombay. Colonies, protectorates, etc. Algernon Edward Aspinall CMG-CBE Secretary to the West India Committee. Frank Moorish Badali CMG Chief Secretary to Government, Nigeria. Clement Everett, unofficial member of the Executive and Legislative Councils, Strait Settlements. Richard Ormond Jeffrey Good CMG CBE lately Chief Secretary to Government, Northern Rhodesia. William Allison Russell, Chief Justice, Tanganyika Territory. Henry Milne Scott KC, Acting Attorney General, Fiji, member of the Executive and Legislative Councils, formerly Mayor of Suva. The Most Honourable Order of the Bath, Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath Military Division, Army General Sir Archibald James Murray GCM GKC BCVODSO, Retired Pay, General Sir Alexander John Godley KCB KCM GADC, General to the King, Colonel the Royal Ulster Rifles, General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Southern Command, General Sir Havelock Hudson KCB KCIE, Retired Pay, Late Indian Army, Colonel the Northamptonshire Regiment, General Sir Alexander Stanhope Cobb VC KCB KCSI DSO, Indian Army, Colonel the South Wallows Borderers, General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Northern Command, India, Civil Division, the Right Honourable Sir John Eldon Banks, Lord Justice of Appeal. Knight Commander of the Order of the Bath Military Division, Royal Navy Vice Admiral Hugh Dudley Richards Watson CBCVOCBE, Army Major General John Duncan CBCM GCVODSO, General Officer Commanding North China Command, Lieutenant General Sir Lewis Ridley Vaughan KBECBDSO, Unemployed List, Indian Army. Companion of the Order of the Bath Military Division, Royal Navy Rear Admiral Roger Rowland Charles Backhouse CBCMG, Engineer Rear Admiral Frederick William Sydenham OBE, Captain the Honourable Reginald Aylmer Ranfurly Plunkett Ernle Earl Drax DSO ADCRN, Army Major General James Stuart Galley CMG DSO KHS, Late Royal Army Medical Corps, Deputy Director of Medical Services, Aldershot Command, Colonel Frederick William Henry Walsh CMG DSO ADC, Colonel Commandant, Royal Artillery, Eastern and Western Commands, India, Colonel Ladislaus Herbert Richard Pope Hennessy DSO, Military Attaché, Washington, Colonel Claude Bussell Brown DSO, Chief Engineer, South China Command, Colonel John Grier Dill CMG DSO, Instructor, Imperial Defence College, Colonel Walter Mansell Parker CMG DSO, Deputy Director of Transport, Army Headquarters, India, Colonel Patrick Barclay Sangster CMG DSO, Indian Army, Brigade Commander, 9th Infantry Brigade, India, Colonel Edward Curry Alexander CIE DSO, Indian Army, Brigade Commander, 4th Infantry Brigade, India, Colonel Richard Gardner DSO, Indian Army, Brigade Commander, 3rd Infantry Brigade, India, Colonel Charles Henry Kemble Chauncey CBE, Indian Army, Deputy Director of Movements and Quartering, Army Headquarters, India. Royal Air Force Air Commodore Hugh Caswall Tremenhere Dowding CMG RAF, Civil Division Captain Llewellyn Evan Hugh Llewellyn OBERN, Commander Thomas Joseph Croker RN, James Allen Noel Barlow CBE, Principal Assistant Secretary, Industrial Relations Department, Ministry of Labour, Arthur Stretton Gay OBE, Commissioner of Crown Lands, William Thomas Leach, Director of Telegraphs and Telephones, General Post Office, Henry Our Frere Leggett CBE, Director of Establishments, Ministry of Health, Louise McQuibbin CBE, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Northern Ireland. The Most Exalted Order of the Star of India, Knight Commander Sir Bhupendra Nath Mitra KCIE CBE, Member of the Governor-General's Executive Council, Sir Samuel Perry O'Donnell KCIE CSI, Indian Civil Service, Member of the Executive Council of the Governor of the United Provinces, Sir Chanilal Vibhu Candas Mehta, Member of the Executive Council of the Governor of Bombay. Companion Charles Cunningham Watson CIE, Indian Civil Service, Political Secretary to the Government of India, Lieutenant Colonel Terence Humphrey Keyes CMG CIE, Political Department. Robert John Sherwood-Dodd, Inspector General of Police, United Provinces. Major Henry George Vaux, CIEMVO, Military Secretary to His Excellency the Governor of Bombay. The Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George. Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, Sir Graham Thomson, KCB, Governor and Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria. Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, Lieutenant Colonel Sir Edward William Maclay Grigg, KCVOCMGDSOMC, Governor and Commander-in-Chief of Kenya Colony. Edward John Harding, CBCMG, Assistant Under Secretary of State, Dominion's Office. Major Charles William James, or CMG, Governor and Commander-in-Chief of the Bahama Islands. The Honourable Philip Whistler Street, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, State of New South Wales. Companion of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, Major Robert George Archibald, MD, DSO, Director of the Wellcome Tropical Research Laboratories, Khartoum. Henry Sinclair Campbell Budge, Official Secretary to the Governor and Clerk to the Executive Council, State of New South Wales. George Craig, Controller of Customs, Dominion of New Zealand. Albert Fuller Ellis, New Zealand, member of the British Phosphate Commission. Odin Tom Faulkner, Director of Agriculture, Nigeria. Alexander Flint, CB, Principal Assistant Secretary, Admiralty. William Alfred Cecil Goodchild, Assistant Delegate and General Secretary of the British Delegation to the Reparation Commission. Alexander William Keown Boyd, CBE, Director General of the European Department of the Ministry of the Interior, Cairo. Percy Alexander Koppel, CBE, Counsellor in the Foreign Office. William Peters, late of His Majesty's Mission at Moscow. Robert Fryer Jardin, OBE, Administrative Inspector, Ministry of the Interior, Iraq. Louis Francis Mizzi, LLD, Senior Member of the Bar, Malta, formerly Member of the Legislative Assembly, in recognition of his public services. Herbert Phillips, OBE, Inspector General of Consular Establishments in the Far East. Francis Graham Tyrrell, Controller of Revenue, Ceylon. Major Francis Walter Fitton Jackson, DSO, Provincial Commissioner, Eastern Province, Gold Coast. Cyril Lee Windsor, MVO, Private Secretary to the Governor, State of South Australia. Edward Dudley Corskaden Wolf, Captain Superintendent of Police, Hong Kong. Ernest Charteris Holford Wolf, British resident, Negri Sembilan, Federated Malay States. Order of the Indian Empire. Knight Commander His Highness Maharaja Vishwanath Singh Bahadur, Maharaja of Chhatarpur. Norman Edward Marfreybanks, CSI, Indian Civil Service, Member of the Executive Council of the Governor of Madras. Sir Edward Grimwood Mears, Chief Justice of the High Court of Judicature, Allahabad. Companion Andrew Goulaklo, Indian Civil Service, Officiating Secretary to the Government of India in the Department of Industries and Labour. William David Russell Prentice, Indian Civil Service, Chief Secretary to the Government of Bengal. Alan Hubert Lloyd, Indian Civil Service, Member of the Central Board of Revenue. Arthur Terence Stowell, Acting Agent, Northwestern Railway. Hyde Clarendon Gowan, Indian Civil Service, Chief Secretary to Government, Central Provinces. Colonel Cecil Charles Palmer, CBE, Deputy Master General of Supply and Director of Artillery, Army Headquarters. James Heslett, Indian Civil Service, Officiating Commissioner, Surma Valley and Hill Divisions, Assam. George Townsend Bogue, Indian Civil Service, Secretary to Government, Finance Department, Madras. Charles William Aldous Turner, Indian Civil Service Secretary to the Government of Bombay in the General Educational and Marine Departments. Lieutenant Colonel Cuthbert Lindsay Dunn, Indian Medical Service Director of Public Health, United Provinces. Arthur Ralph Astbury, Chief Engineer, Public Works Department, Punjab. John Nesbitt Gordon Johnson, Indian Civil Service Deputy Commissioner of Delhi. Major Claude Ernest Torin Erskine DSOMC, Indian Army. Major Richard Outram Chamia, Private Secretary to His Excellency the Governor of the United Provinces. Edward Henry Berthard OBE, Indian Civil Service Commissioner of Excise and Salt, and Inspector General of Registration, Bihar and Orissa. Ralph Albert Horton, Superintendent of Police, United Provinces. While Chand Hirashon Doshi, Bombay. Dinshafard Unji Mullah, Advocate, Bombay High Court. George Morgan, Member of the Legislative Council, Bengal. Ray Bahadur Mahendra Chandra Mitra, Vakil, Bengal. Bhau Bahadur Raja Hari Singh, of Mahajan of Bikaner, Rajputana. Kang Ben Chong, Frederick William Thomas, lately Librarian, India Office, London. The Royal Victorian Order. Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order Charles Henry Alexander, Marquess of Anglesey. Sir Norman Fenwick Warren Fisher GCB. Knight Commander of the Royal Victorian Order Sir Edward Elgarom. Sir Frank Baines CVO CBE. Colonel Clive Wigram CBCSI CVO. Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Darcy Gordon Bannerman CIE CVO. Lionel Cust CVO. Commander of the Royal Victorian Order Sir Frederick Macmillan. Alexander Gordon Ingram CMGOBE. Member of the Royal Victorian Order, 4th Class Frank Herbert Mitchell CBE. Ex-Bailey William Brown Hill Smith OBE. Treasurer James Stewart OBE. Bailey Peter Harvey Allen. Lieutenant Commander George Griffiths RN. EREVD John Sturton DD. Member of the Royal Victorian Order, 5th Class George David Field. Jocelyn Godefroy. Basil Hinton Philpott, John Gwyndag Hughes Roberts. Order of Merit, the most excellent order of the British Empire. Only women were named as recipients of the Order of the British Empire in this list. Dame Head Cross of the Order of the British Empire. Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire Mary Ducourroy, Duchesses of Bedford RCFLS for Public Services. Jane Frances Dove MAJP, former Headmistress of St Leonard's School, Street, Andros. Commander of the Order of the British Empire Annie Rosalie Collin, Secretary of the Friends of the Poor Society. Ellen Mary Mason RRC, Chairman of the General Nursing Council. Violet Mary Craig Robertin J.P. Bailiff, City of Glasgow. Officer of the Order of the British Empire Eleanor Martha Barker, Honorary Secretary and Treasurer of the St. Barnabas Hostels and Pilgrimage Fund. Edith Broadbent, Member of East and Mid-Sussex War Pensions Committee, for valuable public services as voluntary worker in administration of war pensions. Isabel Brogden Carter, Member of the Cheshire Mental Deficiency Committee. Jeanette Halford, Founder and Honorary Secretary of the National League for Health, Maternity and Child Welfare. Essie Margaret Harris JP, for Public and Political Services in Swansea. Rosalie Alice Jane Henderson, Vice Chairman, East Cumberland War Pensions Committee, for valuable public services as voluntary worker in administration of war pensions. Mary Mitchell Thorburn RC, Matron of the London County Mental Hospital, Horton. Member of the Order of the British Empire Agnes Jane Chalmers, Member of Bromley, Sevenoaks and District War Pensions Committee, for valuable public services as voluntary worker in administration of war pensions. Ada Davies, Lady Superintendent, Plaistow Maternity Hospital. Frances Isabella Hepburn, Secretary and Treasurer of the Edinburgh branch of the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. Margaret Elizabeth Shelton-Jones, Member of Warrington, Widnes and District War Pensions Committee, for valuable public services as voluntary worker in administration of war pensions. Jane Mottershead, Senior Assistant Matron, Cheshire County Mental Hospital, Macclesfield. Florence Elizabeth Pearce, Inspector of Midwives and Superintendent of Health Visitors, Oxford. Hannah Ada Turner, Member of Bristol and District War Pensions Committee, for valuable public services as voluntary worker in administration of war pensions. Colonies, protectorates, etc. Margaret Sloane, lately Principal Matron, Government Medical Department, Hong Kong. Kaiser I Hind Medal First Class Margaret Evelyn, Viscountess Goshen, Madras. Aravati Mater, Berners. Captain James Edward Corbett, Nainital. Edris Griffin, Superintendent, Lady Reading Health School, Delhi. Anne Strawn Graham, Superintendent, Lady Reading Health School, Delhi. The Reverend John Newcomb, American Baptist Missionary, Madras. Brother Gregory, Headmaster, Marist Brothers School, Aden. Ellen Margaret Farah, Medical Missionary, Zenana Baptist Mission, Punjab. Air Force Cross Flight Lieutenant Charles Roderick KDFC, Flight Lieutenant Robert Linton Ragg. Air Force Medal Flight Sergeant Francis Hubert Pelham Simpson MM. Sergeant David Kinnear. King's Police Medal for a bat to the King's Police Medal British India Munshi Yusuf Hussain, Sub-Inspector, United Provinces Police. Geoffrey Bernard Sanderman Prance, Superintendent, Punjab Police. C.H. Mahmood Khan, Sub-Inspector, Punjab Police. His Majesty has also graciously consented to a bat to the King's Police Medal being handed to the next of kin of the undermentioned officer, who died on the 26th of December 1926, and who would have received the decoration had he survived. Harry Rivett Cecil Guise MC Superintendent, Bihar and Orissa Police. England and Wales Lieutenant Colonel Frank Augustus Douglas Stevens CBE Chief Constable of Bedfordshire. John William A. Danby, Chief Constable of Hyde Borough Police. William Jones MBE Chief Superintendent and Deputy Chief Constable, Glamorgan County Police. Philip Fermer Ambrose MBE Chief Superintendent, Kent County Police. William Bannister, Superintendent, Lancashire County Police. Thomas Jackson, Superintendent, Warwick County Police. Thomas William Hill, Superintendent and Deputy Chief Constable, Worcester County Police. Alfred Claydon, Sergeant, Metropolitan Police. Henry Pegler, Sergeant, Metropolitan Police. Duncan Dunn, Constable, Metropolitan Police. George Hainsby, Constable, Metropolitan Police. William Marshall, Constable, Metropolitan Police. Percival Roberts, Constable, Metropolitan Police. Frederick Stone, Constable, Metropolitan Police. Albert Turpin, Constable, Metropolitan Police. Charles Young Brown, Constable, Devon County Police. George Brothwood, Constable, Lancashire County Police. Thomas Johnson, Constable, Lancashire County Police. James Edward Dainty, Constable, Nottingham County Police. George Edwin Beaton, Constable, Somerset County Police. Edwin John Pollington, Constable, Dover Borough Police. John Harold Clark, Constable, Liverpool City Police. William Henry Smith, Constable, Liverpool City Police. Frank Leach, Constable, Salford Borough Police. Fire Brigade Captain Henry John Butler MBE Superintendent and Chief Officer, Wimbledon Fire Brigade. Scotland Neil McLennan OBE Chief Constable, Dumbarton County Police. Charles Cheney MBE Chief Constable, Hamilton Borough Police. William Robb, Chief Constable, Renfrew Borough Police. David Happel MBE Superintendent and Deputy Chief Constable, Ayr County Police. John Syme, Superintendent and Deputy Chief Constable, Lanark County Police. Graham C. Henderson, Constable, Glasgow City Police. Arthur Williamson, Constable, Glasgow City Police. Northern Ireland Henry George Slack, Head Constable, Royal Ulster Constabulary. Australia Stephen Condon, lately Inspector of Police and Officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Branch of the Western Australian Police Department. Robert Morrison Larson, Constable, Western Australian Police Force. Union of South Africa John Christian Holer, First Class Constable, South African Police. British India Lionel Belgasson, Deputy Commissioner, Madras Police. William Lane Kynaston Herapath, Superintendent, Bombay Police. Chintaman Mahadyomade, Inspector, Bombay Police. Sheikh Kifayat Sheikh Ajam, Sub-Inspector, Bombay Police. Tuni Mirza, Superintendent, Bengal Police. Richard Ernest Copeland, Deputy Inspector General, United Provinces Police. Tekasvi Prasad Bala, Assistant Superintendent, United Provinces Police. Thakur Moti Singh, Sub-Inspector, United Provinces Police. Munshi Nadir Ali Khan, Sub-Inspector, United Provinces Police. Tejas Singh, Officiating Deputy Superintendent, Punjab Police. Gerald Charles Ruth Herden, Superintendent, Punjab Police. Harold George Bussell, Assistant Superintendent, Punjab Police. Major Cyril de Montfort-Wellborn OBE, Officiating Inspector General, Burma Police. Mohammed Sadiq Khan, Constable, Burma Police. Captain John Francis Bowman, Assistant Commandant, Burma Military Police. Mirza Yusuf Beg, Retired Constable, Bihar and Orissa Police. Jagat Narain Singh, Constable, Bihar and Orissa Police. Bhagwan Pershad, Inspector, Central Provinces Police. Ghulam Muhammad, Head Constable, Northwest Frontier Province Police. Khan Bahadur Tasaduk Hussain MBE Superintendent of Police, Intelligence Bureau, Home Department, Government of India. Colonies, Protectorates and Mandated Territories Muniwal Mutambi, First Class Constable, Kenya Police. Major George Herbert Kirkham MC Deputy Commissioner of Police and Prisons, Tanganyika Territory. Lieutenant Colonel William Henry Wyndham Murphy DSO Commandant of the Zanzibar Police Force. Arthur Harold Dickinson, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Strait Settlements. Kenneth Walter Andrew, Sub-Inspector, Hong Kong Police Force. Marcos Antonio, Inspector, Cyprus Police. Ahmed Izay Hassan, Inspector, Cyprus Police. Kyriako Gavriel Zaptia, Cyprus Police. William Samuel Hay, Sergeant Major, Jamaica Constabulary. Captain Patrick Ruane, lately Inspector, Leeward Islands Police Admiralty, RNV.